Hello guys, this is Gary here from Pathways Homestead, and I want to show you something I'm working on. I'm making a sourdough starter. So 3 days ago, I took a cup of whole wheat flour. This is Sweet Montana, pretty good brand, like the company and what they do. And so I took a cup of whole wheat flour and a cup of water, and I put it in a jar. A little over 24 hours later, I took about half of it out and put half a cup of whole wheat flour back in. No, I put a whole cup of whole wheat flour back in and half a cup of water. And then the next day, I took half of it out and then put a cup of white flour in and half a cup of water. And today I'm going to feed it. And that's feeding it, taking it out and feeding it. Today I'm going to feed it. I'm going to show you how I feed it. First thing I do is I take the cover off of it. I just put a dishcloth, which is actually one of my old flannel shirts. I put it over the top with a rubber band, and that allows it to breathe and get stuff out of the air that it needs, but doesn't allow anything to get in it. And it's starting to really smell sour. We're working on getting a good starter out of this, and you guys probably can't see that, but it's got a little bit of liquid on the top. I'm going to take I guess I'm going to stir it up first, and then I'm going to take about half of it out. And you can take, at this point it's sour enough that you can be taking that discard and making things out of it, making bread or pancakes or biscuits or crackers. We made some pancakes out of it the other morning, yesterday I think, but we're just not going to do that today. So today it's going to get fed to the hogs. Okay, I got about half of it out. I think this is a little different than we made starter in the past, but I read it in one of my favorite magazines. I read it in the Backwoodsman magazine, and I'm going to try this recipe, and you guys get to see how it goes. It's smelling good and looking good already. I think it'll do well. So I'm going to I've dumped half my starter out, and I'm feeding it with a cup of white flour. This is just all-purpose flour, right? Yeah, just all-purpose white flour. I'm going to put a cup in. Okay, we're using distilled water. I'm going to use a little over half a cup of distilled water. The chlorine out of the tap water is not good for the starter. You can just set some water out on the counter for a day and it will dissipate the chlorine. But I've got distilled water, so that's what I'm using. Stir that up real good. Oh yeah, this is smelling like sourdough. Alright, I'm going to take and wipe off just the edges, just kind of keep things a little cleaner. Alright, and that is, we have fed our sourdough starter. We're going to set it, put the cover back on it, set it back in a dark corner, and let it go tomorrow. By tomorrow or the next day, it will be ready to actually use as a starter. About 5 days is what I read, is what it takes, and you kind of tell by the bubbles and the smell, and it's starting to do that pretty good. So yeah, that's our starter, and we will hopefully do future videos on how we're using this starter, but I kind of wanted to show you guys feeding my sourdough starter that I'm starting. Remember, this, usually we show you guys things that we know how to do, and we do a lot. This is an experiment. This is a way we've never done starter before, trying a different method. We've done sourdough starter off and on quite a bit, but this is a new method. We kind of get out of eating bread and then back to eating a little bread, and we like crackers better than bread. That gets eaten around here a little more, so we're going to try maybe at some point making some sourdough crackers. But sourdough is supposed to be better for your health. We have read a lot of Weston Price's research, and his research shows and recommends, and in some of the books written on his research recommend eating, if you eat bread, to eat sourdough or sprouted bread. And so that's what we're getting going, is some sourdough. Hope you guys enjoy this. Remember that God made you special, and He loves you very much.